Hey guys, I'm back with a little bit more from Do I Really Have to Teach Reading by Chris Tavani. This time I'm going to try to summarize Chapter 8 for you pretty quickly. It's all about assessment that drives instruction. And if I could put it all into one sentence, and you can stop watching after this if you want to and still get it, it's give students multiple opportunities to show what they've learned and to show how they think. Other than that, the rest of the chapter is just nuts and bolts of how to do that. I think a nice place to start is on page 108, where she has the points breakdown for her classes that she taught to high school seniors. One of them, the first one up at the top, is for struggling readers, and the bottom one is for college-bound seniors. She states that she expects different things of them, especially in at different times of the year, and I appreciate that. And she's also structured the classes so that everyone can do well and that everyone has an opportunity to show what they've learned. And it sounds daunting, but when broken down into little pieces, it's not so scary. One technique that we can implement would be the conversation calendars. That's on page 106. She starts to tell us about that, and then there's an example on page 109. And that's just a little thing where she has kind of a prompt. The students write a 1 or 2 sentence response, and she writes them back. And she might have them do this once a week, or if on teams, just once a week in each class, so that they're not getting bored with them. But it just kind of gives her an idea of what they're interested in, and she gets to know more about them academically and personally, and that helps her teach them. It also, these serve as a record of their progress throughout the year. Another technique that she suggests we use is to set goals, whole class goals that you democratically talk about and decide, what should be our goals for reading, or what should our goals be for this class. And she's got that on page 105, a list of suggestions for using those, or a list of goals that might be useful. She also suggests we do individual goals just to make it more personal for the students, and that we revisit those goals and decide if we have fulfilled them and we move on, or if we decided the goal needs to stay the same. Probably once a quarter is what she mentioned, I think. And in addition to that, she talks a little bit about reading response logs. And we've had to do reading responses before for our classes, and I think that it is a way to really connect with the text, and maybe we could try that out with our students too. Also, she mentions with the reading response logs, it's probably a good idea to plan about how you're going to collect those, because it could be kind of scary if you get 200 all at once. So check that out if you're interested. That's page 112. Also, she suggests having a file folder of work samples, just kind of a portfolio there so that they can see how they've grown over the semester, and you can maybe give them participation grades for certain things. Also, she talked about quick conferences, and this is just more of an informal assessment that she would use, I'm sure, to kind of assess where the students are. I don't know how she would really give them points for that, but at any rate, finally, sorry for the long pause, she gets to testing what students know, and this is the part that really answered most of my questions about how do we grade them but not be subjective, and how do we get them to show us how they think and how that's improved, because that just sounds tough, but she does a good job, and these sample questions really show us. So, for example, number 2 on page 114 is define metacognition. Why is it important? Give a real-world example of metacognition. Be specific and thorough in explaining your example. So there's a good question that's really going to get them to show me what they've learned. Also, number one's good too, where you show them a sample or a definition of reading or some kind of thing that they've already done for you before. They revisit it and they think about it and they compare their new knowledge with the knowledge they had at the time that they wrote that sample. So that's kind of cool too. It gets them to evaluate their own learning. And basically, she says she kind of sums it up on page 114. Assessment for me is about showing kids how to recognize when they're confused and when they're understanding a text. I give them opportunities to earn credit by sharing that thinking. So all in all, it sounds like her classroom is a wonderful classroom to be a part of. And hopefully we can steal some of these techniques, or borrow, however we want to phrase that, and make our classrooms more inviting for ELLs and struggling readers.